everybody that's tuning in or about to tune in. And I'm here with the legend himself. If you don't, if you don't know Dean from Dean's Beer Reviews, you're about to find out more about him. And definitely, I put a link to his channel in the chat as well. You definitely want to check it out. Me and Dean go back, I guess, a few years now. Since I think we both got around into the beer tube and around the same time. And Dean is actually one of the gentlemen that I started watching from over in the UK. It was really between him and Craig over at Kemp Beer Reviews that really first got me looking at some of the stuff they're doing, and then formed a great a bond over the years, so to speak. And for a lot of you that don't know, for instance, the Facebook group that some of you are part of, the Beer Coalition, it was actually me and Dean conversing over it back in the day that came up with that idea. Yeah. So if you go to the Beer Coalition, Dean is seen there with me as the two owners or founders or whatever we listed back then of the Beer Coalition. So those of you that join that, you know, you're meeting basically the godfather of the coalition, so to speak. You know, maybe one day we'll make a movie about it. But Dean, welcome, my friend. It's actually great to have you here. How's it going?
Well, thanks for having me on, mate. I think I'm the first Brit on here then, am I?
Yeah, you are. You're the first one.
Right. Hopefully the first of many as well.
Yeah,
because there's some other fantastic guys out there. Yeah. I'm doing well, mate. I'm really looking forward to this, actually. I'm a little bit nervous for some strange reason.
Don't be nervous. It's all good, right? It's all good.
Oh, I'll be all right though after I've had a beer.
After we start cracking the beers open, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Dean is you're here from the UK, and you're like the third country we've done it now, because we had Red Beer do it, and he kind of represented Canada. I don't know if all my Canadian friends are saying Red Beer should be the representative for Canada, but he was our first Canadian that we've done it with. But you're actually the first person we've actually done it live, so which is kind of interesting. So if people have questions or want to chime in on the comments, feel free to leave the comments. I'll try to get to the ones that I can get to there, but the whole thing here that it's about is really, I wanted to share Dean's channel and some of the stuff he's doing, give you guys more of a background or kind of a bio of how Dean does stuff and the beers and how he does stuff over in the UK, which is great because some of the viewers that tune in are from over in the UK. We got some people there that come across those beers, and some of the guys in Canada, they get some of the UK beers that come through their distribution and stuff. And of course, we get some here in the States too. So make sure you definitely check it out. Check out his channel, which is up top. And what I would like to see, if you guys get over there and you actually subscribe to his channel, I would like to see to get him over 1,000 today if we can. So I think you're sitting at 981 right now that I saw this morning.
Okay.
So if we can get Dean like 19 subs and get him over the 1,000 mark, that would be huge. And that'd be a big thanks to all you guys out there as well. So if you want to share it out on the different things along those lines, comment, get over there and just it's all great videos. And if you check out a few of them, you'll see what I mean there. So, and of course, as you watch, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff here. And look forward to having a great chat with everybody. At this point, it's time to get our beer on and get into some of the discussion points here. Now, I will say the beer that we're going to actually drink as we do begin the chat here, Dean had actually had it, and I actually had it as well, is the Golden Drop. And this is the special edition, the Brewmasters edition.
Yep.
Yeah. So this one comes in ABV 10.5%.
Session beer.
Nice session beer. Ale matured in whiskey cask. So it mentions on here high fermentation, secondary fermentation, and contains 3 times more malt than a lager. And then my bottle is 11.2 ounce bottle. I figure yours is probably the same.
Yeah, bang on there. Yep.
Yeah. And looking forward to trying this out. And brewed and bottled by Brouwerij van Steenberg. You know what I realized? I did not have a golden drop glass. I need to get one of those. So I'm going to use
I do as well. Yeah.
I got a regular chalice glass I'm going to use.
Banging it in the old tulip glass for me.
So as we pour the beers here, so Dean, how did you get started into the beer tubing area?
I mean, I've always had a fascination with trying beers that I've never seen before, and initially starting off with just sort of like world lagers, I suppose. The likes of Cobra, Kingfisher. Yeah, just the run of the mill stuff that's from another country, I guess. And then I started watching the likes of Real Ale Craft Beer, obviously first port of call for any UK sort of guy really that's getting into it. Of course, Hop Scene, Rob.
Sure.
Used to be another guy called Adam's Craft Beer channel. He doesn't do it anymore now, unfortunately. So I think it was them three mainly for me that sort of opened me up a little bit more to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other guys sort of followed, really.
Right. Yeah, and so the channels you mentioned there, I was the same way, picking up on a lot of those, and special thanks to us. Craig just cheered in and said, "Cheers, guys!" So Craig's watching over at Camp Beer Reviews, another great channel to check out. And so it was like you, it was Craig. Later on, it was like Peter, and we had Harry with Blue Nose doing stuff. Rob, like you mentioned, Hopsine, and a few of those guys there. And the thing that kind of everybody has like your own different style, right? So everybody has their style that they do the videos. And the thing that I think that drew in, like, I'll say your style, was that it was almost like any beer you got, and you still do, it's almost like a Christmas morning for you. Like, you don't know what to expect. You're kind of pumped up about it, excited about it. And within that first popping of the beer, you can just know where you're heading almost, because, like I said, if we ever play poker, like, I'm going to know when you have a good hand, because you can't hold it back. And it's just that pure excitement that you get from it. You
would do me up proper if we've had a card game, because you just roll me over easy, mate. I don't know. That's just, I think, part of the excitement for me with getting a beer that you've never had before, and not sort of digging too deep into it to find out what it's all about and whatnot, and just going in blind, I suppose. It don't always work out like that. You can have some pretty awful beers, as you probably, over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
So, it's all part and parcel of the excitement of just trying something new,
Yeah. Now, do you still do that? And for what Dean's referencing to, Dean had a video one time when he was actually having a beer and it was just terrible. So where he's sitting out there, it's like his enclosed patio, and he just like opened the door and just the beer went out.
No, I haven't done it for a long while, actually. I've tipped a few down the sink, but I haven't actually launched one for a long time. So we're probably due a review of a pre-ropey beer and just slingshot it.
So as far as the beers go, what's kind of a style that you prefer? What are your favorite styles of beers to enjoy?
Well, I do tend to champion the lagers and the pilsners, especially in the summer months, because it's just the perfect style to be drinking when it's really, really hot. IPAs throughout the year, and then the winter months, of course, a really decent imperial stout or a good robust porter. They're probably my 3 or 4 favorite styles.
Okay, all right. So you say you're more seasonal than with the stout beers. You don't like I can drink stouts all year round, but I know some people prefer them to the colder months.
Yeah, I have had stouts before in the summer months, but I think I don't know. I just appreciate them a little bit more at room temperature and in the winter months. That's just me, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it does bring. Whoa, have you tasted this yet?
Not yet, mate. No.
It's got a nice little banging taste to it here.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I had one when you did your live stream. Was it last weekend?
Well, I've been doing more lives lately, but I did do one last weekend, I believe, too.
Yeah, I popped one open and watched your live stream with it. It's a beautiful beer, it really is. It's so smooth.
Yeah. It's if you guys get a chance to check it out, and obviously Golden Rock, great beers, fantastic beers. And this was the last one when I actually bought it. It was the last one they had on the shelf. Definitely worth picking up. It's got a nice smoothness to it. I get a nice little caramel tone out of it as well. The malts come through very nicely. It does feel kind of like a hyped up lager in that, they said they got 1.5 more time more malts in here than they do in regular lager, but you feel almost a smoothness of like a crisp type lager in there, but it's just laid down with the tones of everything.
It's beautiful, and that whiskey, it runs through it quite nicely, doesn't it? I'm not the biggest whiskey fan, but I think with this, it sort of, I think they've got it just bang on with the whiskey in it. It just a nice, gentle sort of slightly warming accent to it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not overly done. It's not too much of a bite on it. It just sits nicely. Getting some pretty decent lacing there on the glass as it's working its way down. And you really just want to sit there and enjoy it, and the flavors are just lasting around. So you're not really wanting to rush through it. You just want to take it all in. A good cigar beer, too, if you had a cigar beer. Nice one with this one. Yeah. Yeah,
most definitely. It's just a nice sort of kick back and relax sort of beer, isn't it? Take your time, enjoy it, savor it. I still, for me, I think the 9000's the best beer that they do, the quad.
Yeah.
That's my personal favourite from the Drac range.
Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, that was my favorite beer of any beer to have, was that Golden Drac one there. And it's still up there. It's almost like I almost had to retire it because it's just such a good beer. You can't keep running stuff against it and everything as far as overall. But, my style that I lean to is more a lot of the Belgian style type beers. And that one was definitely a top one. You have your Chimay that are up there as well. And some of the other ones, the other quads and doubles. But the Golden Drac was just a solid one in that 9000. So.
Yeah, but their Imperial Stout's not too bad as well.
Yeah. And so as far as like beer styles that you don't enjoy as much, are there styles you don't like or things that you're just like, no, I'll pass?
I mean, golden ales can be a bit boring sometimes, I think. I find, I don't know about over in the States, but the UK, we're saturated with them sort of beers. And they're all of the same ilk, really. They morph into the, don't matter if it's a brewery from up north or down south, they're a bit sort of plain Jane for me, golden ales. Yeah. I'll drink them, but they're just sort of like, there's no sort of excitement to it. Berliner Weisses, I have to be in the mood for something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying I've got a style. I like trying all sorts, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to try the different ones. I mean, as the people that know me, I'm probably the only one that I'm not a huge fan of. Was really like the shandy style. I'm not a huge shandy person. Although Leinenkugel's probably been one of the worst ones I've had in that style, and I found other ones that weren't as bad that I can actually get down. But I like to just experiment with all the beers myself, and that's the fun thing about doing what we do is get out there and experiment it and then trying all the stuff. So when you your channel, how long have you had the channel now? When did you start the channel?
I started the beginning of January 2016. I think it was about the 3rd or 4th of Jan 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wow. So does it feel like you're going on like this will be your 4th year now?
Yeah, it's gone pretty fast actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how many beers I've actually reviewed. It's well over 1,000, but it's been really good. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I do get moments sometimes where it's a bit like I can't be bothered to do a review, so I don't, because I thought, what's the point? You've got to want to do it and not just feel like you've got to do it.
Right.
But yeah, it's good fun, and you get to meet loads of nice people like yourself.
Oh, thanks. People say I'm nice, but I don't know. So
you're a good man. You're a good man. You are.
Yeah. So I think your video count. I think you were up near me, maybe like I don't know, you maybe done like maybe close to 1,500 videos. I think maybe on your channel. So you've put in a lot of work. It's probably somewhere. I know it's up over 1,000 for sure. So and it's just those things just happen. You before you realize it, you look at it like, wow, I put a lot of videos up here. So over there, like in the UK, have you like have done different things with going to some of the different breweries or anything? I know you do a lot of the stuff at the house. You do go out sometimes. I've seen you with some of these things where you guys will get together and do some different things. Have you actually gone to any breweries to do any videos, or are you getting recognized by any of the breweries? Or
No, I haven't. Not that lucky. Not
Yeah.
just yet. Anyway, no. No, I haven't really thought about doing anything like that, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we'll do the odd sort of bottle share now and again with a few of us UK beer tubers. We'll get together and you know, take a few bottles over and maybe go out for a few as well. I know we've got one up and coming with Harry, Peter, and Craig over at Harry's neck of the woods in December. I think we're going to be all meeting up and doing some live stuff and doing some reviews, and looking forward to that. And we've done it in the past many times before as well. So it's I do enjoy that, meeting people.
That's pretty cool. And we got some people were commenting in, and Wanda has said, Dean is a lovely bloke and a real friend. The best thing I've got out of this is the people, and the beer comes next. That's a nice comment there.
Cheers, buddy.
Gilbert, who says cheers, and Eric's actually up there in Canada, who always chimes in. He's always on our streams, which love. He's always like a part of it. He's probably our number one fan. I never like to say like people are like fans, because it feels weird to me to say that, but it's like, Eric's a great guy, and he's always part of stuff that we do. And then Eric Lyons fan, he said, "Oh shit, here's Dean." So he's one of your fans there too. So I know Eric likes watching.
Eric sound as well.
Yeah, and he was asking what you're drinking in, and I think he just jumped in. So we are actually both drinking the Golden Drop Brewmasters edition. So this is actually, and Eric, you probably like this one too, a limited edition that came out in 2018. It was ale and whiskey cask, 10.5%. More so, it doesn't really say with style too, but it's more to the lager side for sure.
Yeah, it's not as the body on it is not as generous as some Belgian beers of this ABV.
I mean, if you had
quite low,
if you had like 4 of these or whatever, like they would sneak up on you. It's pretty smooth, and you get a little bit of that taste coming in the boozing, but it's so smooth overall. You can easily just sit there, lose track of time, and then all of a sudden you get hit at one point from all of these.
Definitely. It's what did you pay for your bottle, Rod?
Well, actually mine is right on the front there. It's whoops, hold on, let me switch cameras. I got another camera here because that other one's got the lights behind it. See, as we expand the operation that we have here.
Multi-camera.
Yeah, multi-camera now.
There you go.
So I think that might come in a little bit better there. It's a $4.39.
Okay. Which I suppose that's not bad, is it?
Yeah, $4.39. So no, how much did you pay for yours there?
I picked mine up from an online Belgian beer shop, and it was a stupid price of about €2.5, something like that.
Okay. What would that equate to over?
Well, it's I mean the euro and the pounds a bit like for like, so £2 something, just over £2.
Okay.
Which is an absolute steal, really.
Yeah, well, this was a steal for at this price. I mean, I think of beers that I've paid more for that are nowhere close to the quality that I'm getting off of this one here. You go to buy some of these pint cans and stuff, and it might be, 5 something, 6 something, depending on what it is. Some of the more fancier stuff, you might pay $8 and $9 for like a 12-ounce bottle, and this one's $4.39. It's just solid, spectacularly solid.
Yeah, it's what you come to expect from this sort of, this brewery. That they've been doing it for blooming donkey's years. Yeah, they've got they own the is it Pirate? Is it Pirate?
Yeah, Pirate. Yeah.
Pirate. That's under their umbrella. They've got is it Bonadem? Is it or something like that? I've never had a beer from them before.
Yeah,
but I've seen their beers around. So they've got a pretty good pedigree of beers available. But it's solid Belgian stuff, really. At the end of the day, isn't it? Really, it's good stuff.
Yeah, they have a good portfolio of beers for sure. And then let's see, we got Chris from Eastwind Farm stops in and says, "Cheers, Wanda says, well, Wanda like it. I think you may like it. Craft Beer Pours Brandon says, cheers, Rod and Dean. Cheers, Brandon, for swinging by. And Eric said he had to get ready to go for a date. Chance, cheers, and good luck, Eric.
Good luck, Eric.
Have fun on your date, hopefully.
Yeah. Don't go Dutch on the bill.
Cheers, Eric. Yeah.
Or you'll never see her again.
Yeah. Well, we've been out of the dating scene for a while, but I guess some of these kids got a little rough out there nowadays. I don't even know who picks up the bill anymore in the world it is now. It seems like they split or whatever. I don't know. When we used to date, we always picked up the bill. I mean, that was like the gentleman thing to do. But now, if you do that, some women will say, "You think I can't pay my part?" Like, sorry, I was just gonna.
Yeah, I'm offended. Yeah, yeah. You have offended me by wanting to pay for my meal.
Right,
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
But let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up your channel here as well. And I mentioned earlier for everybody getting here, if you're not over there on Dean's channel, make sure you do check out Dean's channel. Want to go ahead and see about. Hopefully you guys like what he does and get some subs over there. Oh, you went from 981 to 982. So yeah, get some subs in there. If you're not familiar with Dean's channel, there's a link in the chat that I put. But he's got a great channel. He does great videos here. We'll pull up the video page. You can see the different things that he's actually doing. He's got great stuff all around. Oh, you got a new thing. Is that Beer Wars? What was the Beer Wars about?
That was with, if he's still, I can't see the comments, so I'm not sure if he's watching or not, but the Wonder Beer Wonder, a lovely guy, Scott, and his lovely wife, wife to be, Wanda, they do beer reviews together, and we've done a few live bits and pieces, and yeah, that was a little bit of a brainwave that we came together just to sort of like pair off beers of the same caliber to see who comes out top. So there's a few more of them in the pipeline.
Nice.
But yeah, please go and check out Wonder Beer Wonder as well. Lovely folks.
Hey, you had Budweiser versus Budvar. Who did you prefer between the two?
What do you think?
I never had Budvar. I've never seen it really over here to pick it up, but I'm thinking you probably picked Budvar, right?
Yeah. Head and shoulders.
So Budweiser can't win there either. Yeah,
no chance.
And then there's you with Craig as well, so you get to see some of the other beer tubers there. So yeah, great stuff. Like I said, check out Dean's channel. The Beer Library, great title for your cover shot there too. That's pretty awesome. And definitely see what Dean is doing there in the UK. So I always like to try to pop up some random questions to when I have people in the spotlight. So if I said you were going camping and you were allowed to take 6 beers with you, what 6 beers would you put into your backpack?
Right, okay. Pilsner Urquell.
Okay.
We've got a beer over here at the moment that's in the supermarket and everybody can get their hands on it. It's a beer from Cloudwater and Brewdog. It's a New England IPA. So that would go in there.
Okay.
Maybe 2 of them actually, because you can just go in the supermarket and get them off the shelf. They're fantastic. Fuller's. London Porter. I'm getting quite happy with that at the moment. That's sort of doing its job.
Okay.
Saison de Bon.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. What's that, 4?
That's 4, yeah.
That's 4, right? Okay. Hey, okay. There's that many out there, though, isn't it? It's a tough one.
It's a tough one, yeah. It's kind of, what would you, yeah.
This might piss a lot of people off, but I'm going to say Heineken.
I did not see that coming. I'll tell you that. I did not see Heineken being one of the beers chosen.
Yeah.
but
That's my guilty pleasure. That is sometimes.
in your defense, I've heard Heineken is a lot better over there than it is over here. So
okay.
yeah,
I wouldn't know. And then probably some sort of imperial stout. Maybe something from your neck of the woods, like some Trillium. I've never had the pleasure of trying anything from Trillium, so
okay,
one of that. Yeah.
Well, let's say it's a tough call. What would you put in there, right?
Anything that's got beer on it, really. To be honest, I'm not too fussed. I don't really sort of. There are a few beers that I do go back to occasionally, but I just like to just keep trying new stuff all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a tough one, really.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to think. I mean, because there are so many out there, but you brought up an interesting thing there too. So you mentioned how you go back to other one times. So this last year, they had what they call Flagship February. And they were trying to get people to go back and start drinking the flagship beers for a month, like your Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or your Sam Out, whatever like that and everything. Are there certain ones that you kind of keep around more, maybe like a daily drinker or something that's an old traditional that you still go back to? Or because I know you do a lot of the new ones like I do, but occasionally you'll see it coming like, oh, I haven't had that in a while. Let me pick that up again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few beers like from Magic Rock
Mm-hmm.
that are again available locally and readily available to the masses. They're in quite a few supermarkets over here now. So some of their core beers are pretty decent. If you just want to have a beer and not worry about having to turn cameras up, then they're beers that I'll probably pick a couple up just to sort of knock back at, put a movie on and just have a couple of beers and not really think about the beer, really just enjoy it and watch a movie.
Right. Do you have a beer that's kind of like your daily drinker, so to speak, that you would just have around as like a quick pickup? Like, for instance, I don't know, some of the people like the Lagunitas beers. Some of them people will have those around, or
No, I haven't. No.
Okay.
No. Very rarely buy 6-packs.
Yeah. So you're like,
if I do, it's because people are coming around, really.
Right. So you're like I am, I guess, in that regard too. Like, and it's different though, because over there, right, in the UK, a lot of times people will buy the individual bottles at the bottle shops, versus I think over here it's more stuff putting 6-packs on things. But you like to get that arrangement where you have just individual bottles so you can try different things more, even though you may pay a little bit more because you're individualizing it and not paying just for that 6-pack. When you look at it overall, I think it makes it much more worth it to pay that uptick so you can try the other beers.
Yeah. I agree there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so you end up getting different things and trying different ones. And there's some, as much as we drink like a lot of the craft beer, we know there's some craft breweries, you'll try a beer and it's not as great as you thought it was going to be. And you're like, well, shit, I bought a whole 6-pack. Now what do I do with these other 5? So a lot of times, just because it's a craft brewery doesn't mean it's going to be a great beer either.
That's worries me. Yeah, I've definitely had my fair share of paying over the odds, shall we say, on high-end beers and being really disappointed.
Yeah,
just how it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's part of what we go through. When we buy beers, I mean, that is something that could definitely happen there. Wanda Beer Wanderer, your comment about Heineken. That's pretty funny.
I'm just being honest. Sorry.
Yeah. And he said Scott Waitrose has a load of Magic Rock beers at $165 a can. So seems like that could be a pretty good deal.
Yeah, Magic Rock's decent. I mean, that did get a little bit of stick over here recently. They got bought out by I'm not sure who it was now. It was a few months back now. I think it was a New Zealand big brewing company out of New Zealand. Lion, is it?
Okay.
I think. They bought them out, and that created a bit of a shitstorm over here with the purists, shall we say?
Yeah. So
I don't subscribe to any of that rubbish. As long as they continue to make good quality beer, I don't care who owns them.
Yeah. So I was going to say in the UK, then you guys have some of the stuff that we get over here. Like there's people that would get attitudes, I guess, when big business might invest into a brewery, like, if they're so pure, like you so-called like purists, like you said, like be upset when someone's, takes over management from AB and Bev or, whoever it may be. It's kind of funny. You never really hear about it out of the UK as much like you do here in the US, like when people are upset when something like that happens. But the one thing notice, I don't know if you notice over there too, is kind of like sometimes people are fickle about that. Like people will complain about so-and-so got bought out by some brewery. And then you see the same people lining up to get Bourbon County Stout. And you're like, what the hell, man? Goose Island's owned by AB and Bev. What are you you're going to be here bitching about the other company over here?
That's just bloody tunnel vision, though, that isn't it?
Yeah. And
no,
then,
I don't. Crazy.
Someone will try to make an excuse about it or so, but it's like it's like that. So I always try to go local and independent just because I like to, spend money in the community. But at the same point, like if I see a good Lagunitas beer, like their undercover shutdowns are my favorite beers from them. So I usually buy that each year when it comes out. I don't buy them all the time, but I just, there's certain stuff that I want to get. And if they're under someone else, they're under someone else. But the majority of the time, you're trying to put in stuff, maybe you're local, you're independent, stuff like that and everything. But there's still some good beers that come out by some of the other companies that are owned by bigger ones. I mean, a lot of people here buy Avery Brewing, for instance. Avery Brewing has an investment from San Miguel, just like Founders did. So people don't realize that. They don't say anything about Avery. So
yeah, they're quite pricey beers as well, aren't they, Avery?
Yeah, they can be. Yeah. And even like Ballast Point, and they're owned by but they're pricey too on some of their stuff. So they don't always come down when they're bought out either.
No. But I mean, I think it's like anything in life, though, isn't it? You don't mind paying that few extra quid and getting something decent, as long as they can maintain the quality.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't mind pocket.
Right.
It's when they start cutting corners and taking that brew down, taking bits and pieces out of the brew, but cranking the price up. That's when it infuriates me, and I'm sure it does many people out there.
Yeah,
stop playing about with beers.
It's kind of like what I call the Snicker effect. Like over years, if you look at a Snickers bar, the Snickers bar has actually shrunk to what it used to be, but the prices went up on it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's the same over here with that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's the packs of biscuits and stuff like that. They've shortened them down now. You can just tell.
Yeah,
it's only £1, but you're not getting that £1 worth of value because they've taken a little bit off it. So.
yeah, you really don't. So it's capitalism, I guess, at work, so to speak.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
And the beer hooligan says, "I can't stand the craft beer hipsters." So. Let me see here. And I think Wanda Beer, I said like the Pilsner Curl was one on that likes as well. So
yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
that's probably one of few beers that I would actually buy a 6-pack of. And I have done in the past. In the summer months when the barbecue season was in full swing.
Yeah,
Pilsner Urquell is just that's a decent enough beer.
It's a decent one for you're grilling out or something. I haven't had one in a while, but you're thinking about if you're grilling out or doing something like that, it does make a nice beer to just sit there and enjoy while you're doing the grilling and being out there in the yard and doing whatever you're doing. So
it's a good quencher and it's got flavour.
Yeah.
It's all well and good having a cold one to knock back, but it's nice to have a bit of flavour, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Pilsner Urquell does that for me.
So with this year, like Are there like any beers that you've had thus far that kind of stood out to you that you really enjoyed when you're doing the reviews? Any beers you've come across that have been really tasty for you?
Oh, loads, absolutely loads.
Yeah,
But they come and they go.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
they just, they become impossible to source. I don't want to go chasing beers and stuff like that, because that's not me. If I look on a website and there's a beer that takes my fancy, then I'll add it to the basket. That's just how. Yeah. I'll never go sort of completely out of my way for a beer.
So have you ever went to any of the breweries, like when they have like a beer launch and stood in line and waited for beer? Have you ever done that, or?
Nah, I've got better things to do.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, I've never done that either. I know people that have, of course, but there are people that go out there. It's like the night before, and they're in line waiting for the beer to be launched, so we can get a little crazy.
Nah, it's not. I'm not that. I'm not that into it, to be honest.
But a cool thing, though,
I just go with the flow. You know, I mean, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's great meeting people and interacting. But as for like, I mean, I'm on other social media platforms, but I don't really sort of do a lot on there. It's just YouTube for me, really. I don't want to get too bogged down with it all.
Yeah. Yeah, then it becomes not as fun if you're overdone and stuff. So
yeah, I just don't want any of that hassle.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point, and I don't know if it came across the same with you on a lot of stuff. Like, you know, at one point, I think like on Facebook, it was maybe like 9 or 10 different beer groups I was in, and doing it, and I couldn't keep up with it. I just start dropping out of groups because it was just too much. It wasn't fun being a part of so many, so it kind of limited it back down. And at a point, it can become hectic. And I don't know if you're going through that at point too, like where you want to kind of be at and what you want to do. Because you're doing stuff and you're getting noticed, but at the same point, you're not doing it really to make the money off of it. I would say you're just doing it for the fun and entertainment part of it. But it can get to be too much after a certain point. I think if you get too spread out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see you quite easily burning yourself out doing this if you start sort of like here, there, and everywhere. You know, you focus on that group, and it just becomes a headache for me. And that's why I don't do it. I occasionally put a post on Instagram, Twitter. That's pretty non-existent now for me. Untapped, I just forget about that. Shamefully, maybe.
Yeah.
But I haven't posted on there for a long while. So yeah, just YouTube for me, really. I'm quite happy with that. I'm you know, that's just how I want to roll with it, I think.
Yeah. There's definitely different venues out there no matter what's working. And the thing that I think I've learned over the years in doing the channel is that you have to decide where you want to be at, because you can't be everywhere. You want to decide where you want to be, where you want your presence to be felt, that you can actually maintain and handle properly. Because you can't get to a point where you're too thin. And like for me, and it may take maybe a day or two, or sometimes like I always try to respond to all comments within 3 days is my goal, within 3 days. And there was points where I couldn't get back to people for like a week or so. I said, that's not how I want to manage. I don't want people to think I'm not responding back to comments. And I hate when like other channels don't respond to comments. Like, you should be involved. It's supposed to be that social aspect of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I guilty as charged, really, because I do let a few comments slip through the net sometimes. But again, I think that opts back to, I don't want to be almost pinned down to it, you know. I'll have my certain days where I'll turn the laptop on and check my notifications and then act appropriately.
Right.
Just the time and the place, isn't it? If I'm on my phone and I get a notification there and then I might hit it and respond with a comment almost immediately. But then sometimes it can take a few days.
It can.
And
I think in how you lay it down on, you know, whatever channel you're doing, so that your viewers know that it's more comfortable to work that way. Because like I said, I've seen some people that have complained about other people. They don't respond to comments, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like they stop watching the channel or whatever. But if your people know you are responding, but it might be a little bit of time here and there, however you manage it, then usually everybody rolls with it just fine and stuff. Speaking of China, like, so have you read into anything as far as like, I know I was talking to somebody, I can't remember which one we did it on, but like things like trolls and stuff like that. Have you had incidents that come up like with trolls and things you've had to deal with, or
I've had a few.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
I sort of like accept it. It is what it is. It's part and parcel of. It's the nature of the beast, isn't it? Doing this.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I get that. But I think there's ways and means of saying what you've got to say to somebody that you're maybe not that keen on, opposed to just going in with insults and attacks on your family and stuff like that. I mean, that's just
trash. Yeah, that's not something that should be happening there.
It's not on. It's not on at all.
And so I mean, like I said, I know some people that have had to come across. I've had some people tell me like they would get criticized and going how they poured their beer on there. Like I've never had that happen on mine. I don't know if you ever happened on your video, like when someone said, well, they didn't like how you poured a beer, for instance, or they didn't like how you did something in describing a video or something like that. So
yeah, maybe I've had a few comments in the past with, you're using the wrong glass.
Yeah.
Maybe I had a few of them.
Yeah. The hashtag proper glassware, right? So
yeah. It holds liquid. It doesn't leak. It doesn't matter.
I would tell you guys with this one here, I think for me, because I always put it on my Untapped, so I just track my own personal rating for this one. This one is a pleasurable beer, and it's hard to find much wrong with it. I mean, I rarely ever give like a 5 to anything, but I would definitely say for me and for my enjoyment, it's going to be hard to be a 4.75 for me. I mean, it's just got a nice feel all the way around. There's nothing to really knock it on at all. Like it's smooth.
It's an absolute beauty. Well, as you know, I don't give scores on my videos, but if I was, I'd give it a nice 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's
questions.
It's pretty decent. So why don't you do scores on your videos? Is it kind of like you just never wanted to get into giving scores? I can tell you, like I used to not give scores, and I had people start asking me to give scores, so they can kind of relate it to themselves. But then it's
I get it. I completely get the scoring thing. I don't know why I've never done it really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bit of an odd one that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just never really thought about going down that avenue of actually rating a beer from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, is it 1 to 100 in the States? Is it with the rate beer sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or I don't actually rate beer because I think they just make it up as they go, don't they?
Some of them do, and it's like I had done a video a few years ago, basically talking about ratings and why they really didn't matter and all that kind of stuff. Because unless you know a guy's rating system or how they're doing it or how they're breaking it down, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a number. It's just out there, and that's why I put his thing on there now. I'll say I'll tell people it's my personal rating. This is how I feel about it. I used to not want to do a score because I felt like that score might somehow subliminally maybe affect someone's decision to try something. And my thing is try any beers you want to try to see if you like it, even if somebody else doesn't like it. If somebody puts a thing out there, and there was an article I had read just recently where some of the breweries hate Untapped. Like the brewers hate it because people put scores out there that are low. Like they'll say this stout is too chocolate, but it's like a chocolate stout. It's like, what do you mean it's too chocolate? It's a chocolate stout. Or they'll say,
more chocolate.
And they'll give it like these scores that is just like going to drive some of the breweries crazy. So it's kind of like you have to take any score with a grain of salt, whatever. I would say if you think it's something interesting, try it. I've known people that didn't like certain things, but then other people have gotten it, they tried it, and they actually enjoyed it. And so it's all a matter of being able to try that beer and actually enjoy it there. So like Jonathan says, he never rates beers on his stuff. Like I said,
no.
The only reason I kind of put a score in there now because I was kind of asked about that. Beer Hooligan says, yeah, he's had comments on too bigger head on the beer. Well, I'm afraid got to Europe, every beer is poor with the head. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to have some sort of head on a beer. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like what people don't think. It's like here in the States, like you'll go to some of the places and they'll serve a beer and they'll have like a paper thin head on or whatever. Because they're thinking, well, I'll put more beer in more beer in the glass. Well, the problem is then you get all bloated because the gases aren't being released because you got so much you're trying to pinch into it. And then people don't understand why you want to have a head, because if you have a head, it opens up the aromas and it brings out more flavor. So even if it's like a larger head, and what I've been told, like for friends that have been over in Germany and the UK and other areas, I guess overseas, you'll go to a bar, like they'll pour it, and they'll pour straight down, they'll let it sit, they'll settle it some, they'll pour straight down, they'll let it sit and settle. So like when you order a beer over there, from what I've been told, it's not like it's just instantly done, and people are patient, and it's not like here with the social media, people actually talk, so they're waiting for their beer.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more maybe conversing or something. So, but it's kind of like, the perfect pour for a Guinness is 119 seconds. If you went to Guinness and they will give you a certificate teaching you how to pour the perfect Guinness, and it's just totally different. So I think sometimes the whole head thing is actually missed by some of the people that don't really know beer as much as they say they may know beer, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that 100%, mate.
Yeah.
There's nothing more off-putting than having a pint with zero foam on the top. It just doesn't look right anyway, does it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan has said Cindy Ben, she was a nightmare. So that was a troll. I think everybody's had Cindy Ben at some point.
Jesus.
Yes, I mean, it's almost like you're not really a beer tuber until you get Cindy Ben on your channel. Like Cindy Ben, when she comes to troll you, then you've been verified as a beer tuber.
You've been christened.
Yeah. So when I had her on my channel, I was welcoming it all, and I would just scroll back, and it's just like other people would get mad at it. I'm like, you don't understand. That's a rite of passage. If Cindy Ben has followed you, then you've made it. You've broken through to the beer tuber side. So enjoy it and take it all in. And if you don't have Cindy Ben there, you're still working your way up. If Cindy Ben hasn't attacked you yet, everybody should feel lucky if they get a Cindy Ben.
It was that was just a complete bombardment for. I think it was like a spell of 2 or 3 months.
Yeah,
this is going back quite a while now, though, isn't it? I bet it's a good 2 years. It's got to be.
It has been. It's been a while, and I haven't heard anybody seen her anywhere recently. But it's been a couple years or so, and I had her. She came on one time we were doing, and Paul was on the show, and Paul just started going crazy on her. Like Paul was just yelling and screaming.
She's one out of a fuck. She's fucking crazy, though, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's obsessed with cats, isn't she?
Yeah, cats and dolls. I think when we looked at the channel or something. Yeah, so. Yeah, it's kind of like a freaking Misery type, Kathy Bates type thing or something, I think, with her. But,
proper, yeah.
And then Cheshire Helmbrew.
Don't go around her house for a drink.
Cheshire, hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So Cheshire is actually here. So, yeah, that's the great thing with the beer community, because I'm meeting so many of the guys there, like in the UK and overseas and stuff, too, which is awesome, and getting different perspectives on the beers there. So, and for you coming back that way, when you started doing this, and you started maybe meeting with more of us here in the States, were there different things that you kind of picked up, or you learned, or you found out about, things that caught your fancy, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it's always intriguing to see some of the stuff that's being made over your neck of the woods. The craft side of things. We do get a portion of the stuff being brewed over there coming onto our shores, which is lovely, because I mean, you've been doing it for a very, very long while, making some fantastic beers. So it's always nice to try something from another country. And the States knows New England IPA. I mean, do it with your eyes closed, sort of thing. But on the flip side of that, I think the beers that we're knocking out at the moment are very, very more on par with the stuff that's coming out of the States. We've really sort of climbed up the ladder with making some exceptional stuff. There's you could put a bloody match between both countries now. I think with the styles, we are making some good stuff. But yeah, as for over in the States, you were one of the first guys that I sort of tuned into.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jay Terrio, the same sort of era as Simon when I started watching videos.
Yeah.
And then you get that trickle of other people. Jerry Ford, he was one of the first guys as well. Getting to know them, and then that sort of like tails off to another direction, and you get to know people like Eric. Obviously Joe, Average Joe, another superb guy. Matt, Massive Beer Reviews. He's another sort of quality guy that I don't know. You just get all these branches, don't you? They just shoot off in different directions, and you get to see other people.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's like you're always like, it's almost like you're planting seeds, and you're planting seed with somebody else, and all of a sudden that seed grows into another limb from someone else, and you're kind of just doing it over and over again, and you're making some good connections and good friendships. It's some of the people that met, recently, having like Eric and Todd and Joe all here when we went to the different breweries, just like when you went with Harry and you go with Peter and all that. It's kind of like people you had known before, but the beer brought you together doing this thing, and it's kind of interesting. And I was supposed to go to a beer festival in Pittsburgh for Fresh Fest before I hurt my hand. And then when I hurt my hand, I had to get surgery, so I couldn't go. And then I found out later that there were people there that were looking for me. And they thought they missed me, and that I had been there. And we met, and they were like, "Oh, you didn't make it down." And they were like, and I was like, I didn't realize that people wanted to meet me when I came down there, which was weird because I was just thinking like, I'm just an average Joe like everybody else. No pun to average Joe, but just like an average guy out here. But you find out that other people want to meet you, people you converse with, or people that have watched, or you've been in the same circles kind of, but just missing here and there, and it's the whole interesting type thing. So, have you ever been like, I know you say you ready to go to the brewery like that, but have you ever been recognized from your channel or anything, or have you ever went anywhere and so, hey, aren't you that guy that does videos, or has that ever happened?
No, I haven't had any. I don't know how I'd approach that if I was ever confronted with it. Interesting one, but I did actually wind my missus up once. There's a little story for you. We went over to Rome for a weekend.
Yeah,
and we went into the Brewdog bar over in Rome, literally a stone's throw from the Colosseum. And we went in there for a couple of beers, and we sat down. We got our beers, we got some food, we sat down, we chilled out, and then the waitress came over with a Jet Black Heart from a Brewdog beer, Jet Black Heart, and she put it on the table, and she said you can have that, and then walked off, no charge. I looked at my missus and I said to her, she knows me. YouTube, she knows me. She just poured too many beers, basically, and I was the closest table to the bar.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
I played on it a little bit. I thought,
that's pretty funny. Yeah, occasionally it'll pop up. I mean, like I said, you're growing there, so I know at some point it's going to happen to you. It's almost, when it happened to me the first time, it was kind of weird, like just to have someone say something. It's kind of like you don't ever realize that it could happen to you. But it was like it was a total stranger that wasn't even in the beer community, just had recognized me at like a local Subway, and it was like just caught me off guard with the whole thing.
How did you take that then? Were you quite humbled by it?
I was very humbled by it. I mean, I was, and some of the people that are watching probably have heard me tell this before, the story, but I was ordering a sandwich, and it was our local Subway, and the guy came up and asked what beer I was going to review next, and I didn't have any beer stuff on. I was kind of like thrown back by it, and I was like, "Are you talking to me?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, you do the thing on YouTube, right? I watch your beers." Like, I was like, "Oh wow, well thanks." It was just like totally like just caught me off guard. And I had more recently, I went to one of the breweries, and was talking to him, and I was like, "Yeah, I do reviews." And he said, "Yeah, you do Rajay BeerVentures." Like one of the people working in the brewery knew I was, and I was like, "Really?" Like he kind of surprised me there too. So, it's not something where I'm trying to do it to get like an ego or a big head or anything like that or anything, but it's just weird when it happens. Like you don't expect it to happen. It's just kind of, but when it does happen, it's kind of cool too. So.
Yeah, but it
it's
is.
all fun of it. So
Good
and
stuff.
then what I have here, and Jonathan said me and Maria Devon were the first that he actually saw from over here in the States. And Maria still does some beer stuff. She does some other things now, I think, on her channel too. But she's knowledgeable on beer. I mean, she knows her beer stuff for sure. And does things there. I don't know if she does it as
That's
common.
another good call.
Huh?
Tanya, she's another.
Yeah, Tanya is good.
Beer tuber.
Tanya was the first, actually, of the Beer Tuber Spotlight. She was the first one I had on, was Tanya. And she's actually just getting now back into doing some more beer reviews. I think she has stopped for a little bit of time running around doing whatever, but I just saw she's been uploading more, and I sent her a message the other day, but she does really good. And I need to find out where she was in the Cicerone program, because she was going for a Cicerone, I know she got a certified beer server designation, and she was working on the Cicerone test last time we had spoke about it. But just a lot of good people out here trying to find different things in beer, which is awesome. Let's see here. Wanda said UK beers on the rise. Day at Cloudwater, Northern Monk, superb in the UK. And Cheshire says, I saw a fellow in the homebrew shop, new of me. Actually, it's a quite humbling experience. So, he was recognized when he was at one of the homebrew shops. So, I mean, it's going to happen to you at some point, Dean. Like, you're going to get, I mean, you're becoming more and more distinguished on the channel. People are going to get to know you more. And it's just funny when it does happen, though. But yeah.
I'll let you know when it does happen.
Yeah. I don't know if I would get big like Simon, where people are making beers and using his stuff, but
but there's definitely sort of him and us sort of thing. I suppose Greg's beer reviews, would he be the US equivalent that Subwise?
Greg's Subwise, Greg's got.
He's got to be pushing 30 now, hasn't he?
He's got to be pushing around 30 or so. He's pretty popular. I mean, he's Greg was one of the earlier people that I first saw here. I think in the US, Greg may have the most subscribers I've seen on anybody. I know at one point Joe D, I think, was climbing, but I think Joe was still maybe down between 10 to 15 or so, maybe. I'd have to look at their numbers, and then Jay was below them even. But Greg was probably like, the godfather out there on the growth and when he did stuff and how long he's been doing it and everything. And then let me go ahead and pull.
There's always some new guys coming into the mix as well, isn't there?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you too. So I don't know if you're seeing, like I've been seeing, like more and more people popping up that are beer reviewers, and what your take is, what you kind of feel about it, what you've been kind of picking up or thinking there.
I mean, I think it's all good. Whether they last the test of time is a different matter, isn't it? Because I suppose people have come and gone over the years. Circumstances and all that. I mean, you don't know, but I mean, it's nice to see some new people having the courage, I suppose, to turn a camera on and just chat a load of shit really in front of it and try and get some interesting information out at the same time. So I think it's great. There's a few new guys that have come onto the scene over here in the UK that have caught my eye a little bit. That I'm thinking, they're doing some good stuff at the moment. I hope it continues. Yeah.
Now, have you ever done anything like as far as brewing beer? Have you ever home brewed or anything, or have you thought about it?
Years and years ago, I had to go at it when I was skint. I didn't have a lot of money, and I bought one of these cheapo kits. I was living with my grandparents at the time to keep it in the airing cupboard. It was like a 20-pint best bitter mix. Absolutely, it just stunk the house out. It was horrible. And it was stuff. It poured like treacle. It was horrible. That was the last time I sort of dabbled with that.
Well, at least you gave it a go. You at least tried there.
It was horrible. It's foul.
Yeah.
You know, no, I'd sooner go out and buy it. I can't be done with the hassle.
Well, I think there's something with it though too. Like I said, like I've done different things, brewing and all kind of stuff, but it's almost like at least trying to, you kind of got a feel of what the brewers have to go through making it, and kind of getting to feel some of the hops and the malts and all that kind of stuff. I think that gives an extra opportunity to kind of get a figure on what they're doing and stuff there. But no, you don't have to brew it to actually, review it and stuff either. It's just, it's another aspect to it or so. But if you drink enough of them, you'll know. So it's like if someone puts something down to you blind, like what something's going to be. If you take that first sip and it's like a saison, or if it's an IPA, and what kind of IPA you may struggle a little bit with, but you're definitely going to know if it's probably an IPA or a stout or a porter, and after a period of time. So have you thought about like doing anything to get a designation for beer, or
nah,
you just kind of just do it for just the fun and everything?
Just purely the fun, really.
Yeah.
Life's hectic enough, and I know I don't do long videos, but that sort of 4.5, 5 minute window is just my sort of little release. As brief as it is, it's my little release, and obviously turn the camera off and just sit back and enjoy the remainder of what's in the glass.
But you get it down in that 4 or 5 minute window. I mean, you nail what you need to be nailed, or you've had some around 3 minutes. You said what needed to be said, and there was no use of going on if it's already done. Some people will go on and trying to add stuff in there, so you don't have to try to add stuff in. If the story is done, it's just done.
Yeah, I think my reviewing style just sort of, I don't know, I think it reflects my life a little bit, where I'm quite busy. I've got a busy life. I've got kids. I'm self-employed. I've got a busy life. And I appreciate that people out there have got busy lives too. So I don't want to keep them too long, if you know what I mean. I think that just spills over onto my beer reviews, maybe.
Yeah. No, very smart. I mean, you get to, and you do it in a way, like I said, and for those of you that haven't seen Dean's channel, it's definitely entertaining. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and just pull back up, because I know some people have come in since we actually had shown it last time. So I'm going to share it. So again, if you haven't been over to Dean's, it's Dean's Beer Reviews. Go over there, check out his channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We want to try to get him, hit my refresh. I want to get you to 1,000. I want you to get over 1,000. So we still got it. We got one person that's subbed. They're 92. We know we have people that are in here that are probably subbed to you as well. But I would like to get you over that 1,000 mark. But some really great things going on with the beer. Up in the chat, I have the link to the channel as well, that you can actually click that link, I think, and be able to go over there too. But yeah, if you haven't been over there to check out Dean, you definitely need to get over there and see what he does and all the different beers from the UK that he's actually enjoying. So, but
if it happens, it happens.
I mean, you should have. I mean, I've got more than you, but you should have more than me, I think, on some of the stuff that you do there. So,
whatever. I'd say it's. I think when you getting wrapped up in numbers and bloody all that, I think it takes the magic out of it a bit as well. I'm just going to let it just do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
I don't bang anything out like, subscribe and give us a thumbs up and all that. And I know other guys do. I'm not knocking. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. It's just I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I just don't do that. But if you want to come along for the ride, then fair play, whatever.
There you go. And then Tim said Greg's is actually 28,800 is what he actually has for subs. Nice. Which, like I said, I think maybe the highest. Jonathan, get Dean to 1,000. Come on. So, yeah. We need to get you to the 1,000 club, my friend.
I can remember when I got 10 subscribers and I was like, what the fuck? 10 people subscribed to me.
And then Alex says he subbed to Dean. He has a great channel, really. So Alex has signed on. And Alex, I saw your comment there. It's like, but this is like a spotlight video, so that's why it's just me and Dean on here today. And then Cheshire is one of my favorite reviewers is DJ's BrewTube, which DJ always has done awesome. So DJ was one of the first guys that I also saw when I first started doing the videos. And the first time you see DJ, right, he comes at you because he's yelling into the video, into the screen, all kind of stuff. But it really works for his style. He really brings all that excitement and everything. So it's always fun watching him review beers too.
I think I've seen a couple of his videos as well. Did he start off at the same time as like Darwin and that sort of?
He might have been maybe before or around Darwin. They were both before I started doing it, but he's been doing it for years. He was doing it for years before I was. And he's like he's over in like the Maryland area here in the States, but he has like all the stuff behind him, and he's usually there with his cap and stuff. But he's like, "Well, the DJ BrewTube," and he just goes in everything. So great guy. My wife had to go to Baltimore a few months ago. Again, this is after I hurt my wrist. I had to take so many days off to let my wrist get healed that I ended up losing days. I was going to go to Baltimore, so I was going to try to catch up with DJ when I was down there as well. So, but a great guy, does some great beer stuff.
There's a whole plethora of beer reviewers out there for everybody. There's a beer reviewer out there for somebody, isn't there? There
is, and you're not going to like every beer reviewer. I think it's a matter of style and taste and preference. I know some guys don't prefer some of the beer reviewers, and other people enjoy those reviewers. Just find the ones you like and what you enjoy. Everybody's got their own little thing, their own little style. Like, you look at some of the reviewers, they kind of talk about the beer, but then they maybe give you a story that's around the beer or something, like they'll start talking about the beer and they'll be like, well, I remember back, blah, blah, blah. And then, you're off in the story on some other tangent. And you got some guys that are like, hit the focal points of the beer. And then that's pretty much it's done. So find the people that like that you like their style and sit back and enjoy. So.
And of course, honesty is paramount.
Honesty is huge. Honesty is huge. And that's one thing. That's a good thing to bring up as well too. Like on your comments, do you ever get comments back that people appreciate the honesty on your channel as well too, or has anybody?
I've had a few people before where they've left comments sort of like on it, good, honest, straight to the point video, thumbs up.
Yeah. I've had some comments like that, and it's a matter of people really appreciating it and not trying to hype something that isn't there, so to speak. And it's no good. It's like, my big thing now is the thing that's been driving me more now, I guess I'm getting old like Greg or whatever, is the damn dates. I keep bringing up dates on videos. I'm kind of stuck on that right now. Like when these breweries aren't putting dates on their stuff, and I pretty much, have to say something.
Yeah, no, that does knock me a little bit as well. Yeah.
And it's like, and it used to be like, if I didn't
America, the beers that I've had that have come over here from the States, dates. They don't like putting dates on their beers, do they?
It's hit and miss. Some of the breweries do, some don't. And the thing that's bad about there's been sometimes where brewers will say, well, it's I guess the cost or whatever. But like if you put some BS story on here about the beer, you could have just put the date, because all you really need is the date, the ABV. You don't even really need the IBU, because most people don't even understand IBU anyway, unless they're like in beer that deeply. But the two things you should always have is a date, and you should have the ABV. Yeah. And
the two most important pieces of information on a beer can, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they got this general warning or whatever about alcohol, but who really needs that on the bottle?
Bollocks.
That's taking up space.
Bollocks.
Take the damn warning off.
Just pepper the back of the can with fucking, don't do this, don't do that. Yeah. Don't drink if you're pregnant.
It's like, but that's like one of those things I actually pick up now. It's like, and there's times when I go to pick up beers, I don't know if you do the same. If they don't have a date on it, I don't buy them on certain styles.
I tend to check dates quite a lot, because there's a few local shops. I'm not going to mention their names, but there's a few local shops around my area that will get some beers in from God knows where, put them on the shelves at a pretty attractive price, but they're bloody months old. You know, they went past their best before date, 2 or 3 months ago. Now, I haven't got a problem with buying a beer that's out of date and it's in a bargain bin.
Oh yeah, if you put it in a dollar cart or whatever,
yeah, you know what you're getting.
That's fair game, man. That's fair game. Yeah,
you know what you're getting. I made a mistake a while back now. I sent my good friend Craig some beers, and I picked a can up locally from my local shop and put it in his box to ship to him, and it was out of date. And I went, I mean, Craig told me he didn't review it, but I would have liked him to review it because he hasn't had anything before from him, but he didn't because the date was gone on it. I was pretty miffed with that because I went straight back to the shop and I bloody moaned about it, saying, look, you've got new release stuff on the shelf and you've got out of date beers in the mix with it. It's not on. Stick them in the bloody reduced to clear basket.
Yeah.
He gave me some beers for free in return for that because for me it was for a friend. I sent it for a friend, so
right.
We're quite happy with that.
Yeah, it was. I had an incident back earlier this year. I did a video about that in one of the store next to me, and they actually have a good craft beer selection. But went in there, and it was when the new Bell's Oberon had come out. So I always put Oberon's one of the beers I usually get each year because I like to enjoy it. And I was like, well, I saw some in the singles, and it was the last year's edition of Oberon. It's like it's a freaking wheat ale. You're like, you don't want a wheat ale a year later or like that everything.
Nah.
And they had the 4-packs. Well, at Bell's, they put the date on the can, but they don't put it on the outside of the box. So there's no date on the box. And I asked the lady, are these the Bell's from this year? Are they the new release? And she said, yeah, they're new release. We just got them in this week or whatever. And I'm like, are you sure? Because some of your cans have last year's date. Are you sure these are new? And say, oh, yeah, we're sure, whatever like that. So went ahead and bought it and decided to walk outside. And before I got in the car, I was like, you know what? Let me just open up a box and see. And it was the cans from last year. So then I came into the store. I came back into the store. And I'm like, you said these were the cans from this year. These are the ones from last year. And I showed her the date. And she was like, but they just got here this week. It's like, but they're the same ones. And I asked you that. And you told me they were. And then she's like, well, how do I know you didn't go out there and change the beer cans? I didn't go. I was like outside for like 2 seconds. I went out there, I opened up, I came back in, and then she's trying to argue with me. I'm like, I sat here, asked you 3 times, is this year's? And you said yes. And I was like, just give my money back. And she's like, well, we can't give money back once you sell alcohol. You leave the store. And like, but you gave me the wrong answer. You lied. And finally, she ended up giving me the money back or whatever. But it was kind of like, I asked you, was this the case? Was this from this year? And it's just like, so I haven't gone back to that store since then and stuff. So it's kind of like, it was sucks because they got like next to my house. They got most of the craft beers in that store, but I can't go back to that store now because I just don't trust them. I don't want to go back in there and deal with it. So, but it's
that's
like
the trouble, though, isn't it? When you've got stores doing things like that, cheap shots trying to palm off out of date beer. It burns the bridges with the consumer, doesn't it? Because you just think, like you said, you ain't going back there now because of that. You haven't got the face to go into that shop and purchase a fresh beer. Yeah.
So once I got my money back, I went out to the car and then shot a YouTube video and showed the store where I was at and put that on. It was like, I was all hot because I had to
name and shame.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't pull them out and bloody crucify them.
Yeah.
March them up to an hill and pin them to a cross and burn them.
But that's not a thing you want to do either. Like I had no really fun joy in doing that then, but it was kind of like, it was more for people when you go out and buy beer, be careful of stores that do this like this, and told the whole story on it. But it's kind of like, you don't want to be that one slamming a store or something out there. But at the same point, it's kind of like someone has to tell that story.
Yeah. But on the flip side, you've done videos before where you've praised stores for having real exceptional deals on and a vast variety, a pretty bang on selection of beers. You've done walkthroughs, haven't you? Well, so it's just how it is, isn't it? If you put the effort in, and have a good display of beers that are reasonably priced and are in date, then you're going to do all right, aren't you? You're going to reel people in, and it's going to make people like yourselves make content and promote that store for having a good range at affordable prices and whatnot.
Right.
So it's just all part and parcel of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. You're right. There was I was going to ask you. There was one beer I just got. Speaking of the deals, I don't know if you've had this one over there. I gotta pull it up.
Are we talking here. a Rod J deal here?
Yeah. You tell me if it was a Rod J deal. So
go on.
Innocent Gun, Kindred Spirits. It was their stout, Scottish stout. Meets Tullamore DEW triple distilled Irish whiskey barrel staves in a unique aging process to create a beer packed with dark chocolate, coffee, and vanilla flavor with hints of oak. Have you had that one before?
I think I have, actually.
It's like in a green bottle, I believe.
It normally comes in a presentation box. Some of the supermarkets over here sometimes stock that as a Christmas beer.
Yeah, like kind of a Christmas thing.
It comes in like a cardboard.
Kind of like if that comes like that kind of bottle with the green.
Yeah.
So I was going through the store. It was over at Jungle Gyms. They were in 4-packs. It was 4 packs of those. $2.49 a 4-pack.
Boom. Yeah, that's all right.
So I got 2 4-packs, but I didn't know how good of a beer it was. I haven't drank them yet, so I don't know if you had them, if you thought it was a tasty beer or not.
I think that the price that you've paid for them beers, you haven't been ripped off at all. They're not mesmerizing beers by any stretch. Again, I think that sort of brewery for me, when I was getting into beer, it was like wow, bourbon barrel aged dark stuff in a supermarket. Now they're drinkable, but I don't think they're amazing beers anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's just over 60 cents a bottle. I mean,
I mean, can't knock it for the price. You've got a good deal there on price wise. Interesting to see what you think of it when you come to review it.
Yeah. I'm gonna review it at some point here.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, and I suppose it's something different, isn't it? You know, a foreign beer, you haven't had it.
Yeah, and I like Irish whiskey, so to see what it tastes with the Irish whiskey stamps would be pretty good. Let me see here. Cheshire has said, I give my beers to others, and I'd much rather people give me feedback, good or bad, as opposed to people who say nothing. I would like that as well. I mean, it's kind of like I wish there was a feature when the people give you a thumbs down that they had to mark something as why the thumbs down, lack of interest, didn't, feel entertained, or maybe just so that can be put back to the people that have the channel so they know what the reason was.
Yeah, I think for somebody that creates something, to get a thumbs up, then you know where you're at, don't you? You're doing something half decent because someone's liked your content, whether you've said a certain thing within that video or the whole video or the presentation or whatever. They'll give you a thumbs up, but a thumbs down, it's sort of like no man's land a little bit, isn't it? Because you're thinking like, have I said something wrong? Have I described a flavor? Or is it because they're just arseholes and they don't like you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just don't like you.
I'm not having any of that.
Yeah. That would definitely be helpful. And Hooligan, I thought Hooligan was at 1,000 by now. I had 955 at the moment. Want to do a giveaway when I get 1,000 as well as me and Dean reviewing a special beer. So Dean, you're gonna be a popular guy.
Yeah. It's no, I won't say what beer it is. We'll wait and see what happens.
We're waiting to see get up to 1,000 there. Yeah. So Beer Hooligan's got a great channel there as well. He recently just joined the Beer Coalition too on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I came across that guy. Probably it's about a good 12 months, maybe a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's just it just pops up one day on the notifications. You know, you get these recommendations, don't you, other channels, and it just pops up. One of his videos popped up, and I thought I'll go and check him out, and I quite liked what I saw. And I subbed him, and he subbed me back, and we had a bit of communication on Facebook Messenger, chatting away and stuff. We've done a couple of live reviews in the past. Yeah, again, it's the beer tuber tree. It branches out to somewhere different, and you stumble across somebody else.
Now, do you usually check your analytics on your channel? Do you ever go to the analytics page to kind of see things and how things are working for your channel?
I'll skim over it, yeah, but I won't go into great detail on it. I probably don't know half the stuff that goes on with all these sort of bloody algorithms and all that.
Yeah. Well, I guess until a bit of number crunching, doesn't it, though, when you think about it. But no, it's just some interesting stuff on it, because you'll see, like, there's a section where it'll say, you know, who's recommended to your videos and stuff, and you'll see some stuff sometimes, and you'll be like, something that's totally off base, but somehow 3% of recommendations are coming from this other video. It has nothing to do with beer. So, you know, it's some like, you know, pregnancy Le Mans class video or something like that. And all of a sudden, why is my beer getting recommended with that? I mean, anytime you get recommendations is a good thing, but it's just funny because you'll see things that on the list and you're like, I don't even know how that fits in for me to get recommended. But you're thinking, like, did I say some type of keyword or put something in there that kind of ties into it or what? But any recommendation is a good recommendation.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And then Jonathan has said, for me, subs aren't as big as such. It's not something I'm completely obsessed about. The beer is more important. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people are definitely trying to chase subs, and some people are doing it for the fun entertainment value. I mean, there's some people that get on some channels and they're always like, you know, sub to me. It's like, don't come on there just saying sub to you. Like, you're ruining someone else's channel for one. It's not your channel. You're sitting there trying to jump on and get subs off of. But at the same point, what you're really doing is now just being a human spammer to the people that are watching. Like, you're just begging for the subs and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
No,
I think that takes the magic out of it when you start going cap in hand.
Yeah.
Just let it just do what it's got to do.
Yeah.
Don't get too sort of et up in it, because it's just beer at the end of the day, isn't it, really? You know?
Yeah, and it's all about the fun. And I think
as much as we love it, it's just beer.
Well, I don't want to say just beer. I mean,
talking of beer, I'm gonna go and grab another tinny, mate. Hold on.
Okay, excellent. All right, so hopefully everybody is enjoying themselves here as Dean goes to get another beer. I actually have another beer here that I'm going to crack open as well. See if there's any other the comments I missed in here, and appreciate all the feedback, of course. And again, if you guys haven't checked out Dean's channel, make sure to definitely check him out there. And let's see if I grab another link here. That's the link earlier. It's actually up at the top of the chat where you can actually click on to see Dean's channel, or the 3 dots next to his name will actually take you to the channel as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and pour this other beer.
What are you opening now then, Rod?
So this other one I have is actually from one of our local breweries. It's from Wooden Cask Brewery. And this is actually called the Thin Blue Line Reserve Barrel Aged Coffee Stout. So they actually had done a beer in remembrance of fallen officers here in Kentucky.
Cool.
Yeah, so then it's got like the thin
that's
blue
nice.
thing there.
Yeah, that's good.
So I know the owners of the brewery there, and always like to check out what they're doing and stuff. And then I ended up picking this up. Actually, it was at a Party Source before J.O. was no longer with them out there. But I said, you know what? I haven't seen that one before, so let me try that. And for that, I'll have the hashtag proper glassware, because I got this here from Wooden Cask. Although technically, this one has an ABV of I think it's a higher ABV. Coffee and vanilla bean added. I know I've seen it on here before. And this will tick me off if it's not on there. That is weird. I don't see the ABV on this one.
Ooh, naming shame.
Yeah. Well, the other part of it too, and I've actually said it before, and he knows on our way, there's no date on it. And I hate when they don't have dates on the bottles. So on my videos, usually I have the sound effects now where I put a boo up or something, but I can't do it with StreamYard. So we're like boo for not having not having not having a date on here. Let me see here.
I'm all right. I've got a date on mine. I'm all right.
Yeah. I know the ABV is high, so I'm not too worried about that, but
this is a bit of a I'd just like to pick your brains for 2 ticks, my friend, on what you think of this. Probably ain't gonna get it's Polish
Aura?
Some Polish craft beer.
I haven't seen that one yet.
So this is from the Brawar Lotny out of Poland, and it's, as you can see there, double IPA. Yeah,
Double. Okay.
Double IPA, ABV 6.6. What's that all about?
Yeah, doubles 8% is the level for a double IPA.
Yeah, just
to be an imperial.
We seem to be getting a lot of beers that. I mean, we've got an imperial stout at the moment in the supermarket, and it's 7% or 7.5%.
Yeah.
To me, that's not an imperial stout, and we seem to get a few beers as well, double IPAs that are knocking around the 6% mark. Yeah,
I mean, an imperial or a double 8% is the standard.
That's the minimum, isn't it?
Style there, to make it a double. I wonder why they're doing it that way. Unless they got a different standard for how they're classifying it in Poland, but it should be the same.
Well, it should be across the board, shouldn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice enough IPA. Hopped with, I think it's hopped with some New Zealand hops. It's very, very drinkable, very nice, but little things like that sometimes sort of niggle at me when I think, well, you don't really need to put double IPA on the front and then have 6.6 in bold lettering.
Yeah. And it's 6.6 ABV. It's not alcohol by weight, right? It's not alcohol by weight, it's ABV. Because if it's alcohol by weight, it would be higher. Okay. Yeah. Well, they're actually lucky I wasn't doing a review on this one. They're lucky I wasn't doing a review on this beer because this came out mostly all head at one point, and I'm letting it settle because I would have been over for one, not having a date. This one's an 8% ABV, but it was way too heady for what it should have came out of here. I mean, even if I'm pouring it in, it just keeps getting a bigger head there. So I gotta let that settle for a little bit. But Beer Hooligan says, I'm waiting to be recommended by the Alcoholic Anonymous channel. That would be something. It says, Shellsire said, if you look into it, a lot of recommended are people who pay for marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there probably are some that are recommended they pay for marketing, but with the YouTube algorithm, it tries to match you up with other people similar to your channels for recommending as well, if you get enough exposure. There's actually some interesting things, and I don't know how much you've looked into YouTube when you do things like when you set up your videos, if you put them on playlists, if you go to the playlist settings, there's actually a box you can click to say, show this as a series. And what it'll do, anytime you put it on that playlist, it'll know automatically to pull other videos from that playlist as your next video.
Ah, right, okay.
So that way it stays in the series. Yeah, so like if somebody's looking at one of my beer reviews, it's that playlist is a series, it'll go to another beer review rather than like an unboxing or a beer festival, something that might not be of interest to that viewer. So it's kind of interesting. That's one. It's just these neat little things you can do with it. So yeah, that you can
no, I didn't know that.
mess around with. Yeah.
I'll have to look about with that. I just tend to sort of like do the basics on it, really. Just upload it, I don't even bother with descriptions anymore, to be honest. I'll put a few tags in there, and then just publish it there and then, or schedule it for whenever.
Yeah.
But I suppose I need to dig a little bit more deeper into all that sort of thing.
Well, just think, I mean, you're having some good success and you haven't done that really too. So that might be able to push you over a little bit more. Although they did come out and say like tags weren't as important as what they used to be. So now the big thing they say they look at is the algorithm looks at well, I can't really decipher like the thumbnail for the video, but like description and the title are big into what plays into it. And then if you're doing your description, if you're repeating words that are also in the title, it strengthens the opportunity for the algorithm to actually realize your video because it sees those words duplicated. But you have to do it in a way where it's not like you can't go beer, 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 beer. So that it has to be written in a sentence where it's kind of understandable as you keep mentioning certain keywords. So there's different ways you can mess around and do stuff on there. But it used to be like tags was huge, but they said tags aren't as huge as they are now. And then they also said, like, instead of just views now, because everybody's always trying to get views and stuff, it's more watch time than views. So if you get like 50 views, but everybody stops watching your 5-minute video after 15 seconds, they don't do you any good.
No good.
But if you got like 20 views and they watch 80% of your video, that's better off than you having those other 50 views. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
so.
I think it helps. It helps doing all this sort of live stuff as well, doesn't it? Because I've noticed on the brief, you get a brief breakdown of analytics. I mean, on my mobile phone, I'll skim through that because it's just a quick breakdown. Most of the live stuff is always top of the tree with like minutes watched, because you're on there for a longer. I suppose you get a little bit of an audience that will sit down and watch you for quite a while. So I've noticed that a few of the live stuff that I've done in the past, it's always been up there.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I think the old nature of it, you're doing a longer video. You're going to get more minutes attached to that, aren't you?
Well, you have more minutes. You also have people that are chiming in, consistently coming in and out, I think. And like we've had here, the great interaction with people. It's nice to do that. If you're watching the recorded video and it's giving you a kind of the information you need, that's one thing. But like, for instance, I think like with the beer reviews that we do, like you got the sweet spot. Because when you're putting them in that 4-minute, that 5-minute, 3-minute type range, you're hitting everything that needs to be hit for someone that's just going to watch a video and not be able to interact at that time with the person. I think when people do some of the longer videos, it's hard for someone to just sit there and watch all the way through, because I think some people start to repeat themselves after a point, or they've done enough to actually cover the material. So if you're taking 8 minutes to do something you could have done in 3 or 4, and people start dying out, it looks worse on the 8-minute video when they say your retention is 40% versus when they leave on a 4-minute video and your retention is 90%. YouTube looks at that being better. And like, I see some people that do some videos and it's like 20 minutes out. And I'm like, I say for a beer review, you're going to do 20 minutes. And it's kind of like, it's tough. Now they could be, and I know people that do interesting stuff. Like I said, like James Rampart Lion, he does a lot of good stuff on his. He has some longer things, but he has like good stories intertwined. I think for the average viewer, it might be too much though. So
yeah,
all that stuff gets looked at.
You've got to have that time.
Yeah.
To like with James. I mean, I'll the weekend because I know I've got the time to watch it. It's pointless skipping through videos to get to the points that you want to get to. So you've got to sort of make that time sometimes to hear what people have got to say. I mean, he's proper in depth, isn't he? That fella. I mean, he'll give you a breakdown of the brewery, when they started, and all what you need to know
And
about
it's all good stuff that he does too.
Yeah. It's all proper beer geek stuff,
Yeah.
by all means. Yeah, it's great stuff. And then he moves on to the beer and breaks that down nicely.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of, I think for someone like you or me or, Peter, Craig, Eric, some of the guys here, we may sit there, we may look, we may watch that whole thing out. But I think maybe for an average person, it might be too long at times. Just depending. I mean, he'd have to know his own numbers and how it usually pans out. But it's kind of like when I used to talk with Tanya and stuff, and we were talking one time about doing the videos, and it's kind of like, if you're doing a beer and you're doing a sour beer, for your common person, you're not going to do a dissertation on Brettanomyces, right? Like some people put that stuff in there talking about, like the average person isn't going to know really what that is. So why even touch on that or try to get it something more relatable? Like that's what I like to do on the videos I do, is kind of like try to find relatable type things. Most people may not know what a boysenberry tastes like, or a passion fruit, like that, everything. So you try to come up with an idea of something that might be close to that. If it's like something like a raspberry or something more common that people might be more acclimated to actually know what it is. But it's just, finding that style is key so that you're given the entertainment that's needed and knowing how far you need to go and not go over that period.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you did some interesting stuff a while back, and I'd like to see you resurrect it, where you showcased hops. You did a little segment on that, didn't you? Where you were going through different hop varieties. Yeah.
Actually, Todd's been trying to get me to do that again. He's like,
I'd like to see you resurrect that again.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool what you were doing.
Thanks. Yeah, and that was a simple, because I was like, I think I called it the hop minute. So I did all about a hop within a minute to give you an idea of how the hop. And I've had a lot of good views and stuff off of those, and people did enjoy them. That's the other thing of YouTube, right? You start going one direction and you go another direction. Next thing you know, you're all over the place, and it's like, where do you want to be at? But there's so many hops out there. Yeah, that would be a great series to come back and do. I want to do more of these, like the beer spotlight series. I love having you guys on and talking about your channel, helping you get exposure and things along those lines. There's just so many ideas in the head, and I've got like on the side over here, like I have a whiteboard where I put ideas and all that kind of stuff, and I put stuff up there. Like a week later, I come and erase it, and I put new stuff up there. I come back and erase. You're always like constantly coming up with stuff, and then you're like, wait a minute, go back to before I erased it like 3 weeks ago. There was a good idea on there that I need to go do again. So,
no, this is an excellent format, really. It's right up my street because it's one-on-one sort of thing. I like all that.
Yeah.
I'm not really a crowd person. That's why I don't really do that many like hangouts and stuff with other folks.
Yeah.
As much as I love them all, I can't deal with the crowd.
Hangouts can get kind of crazy.
Just how I am with that. No disrespect there.
Yeah. And it's
this is a great little thing. This is.
I like the one-on-one interaction, so to speak, as well. And I would say one-on-one, but we also have people that are watching too, so the interaction coming from there as well.
Oh, that's cool as well.
And I've always had that fun. Doing this kind of stuff is more closer to kind of like back when I was a radio DJ, like I talk about when I was in college, where we would do interviews with people and stuff like that on the radio, and people would respond. Or, I like that kind of interview. I like to ask questions. I like to find out about people. I like how people find out how they think about things, how they put things together, as far as putting them on the spot sometimes, just to see their reaction and stuff. So I did the one with Kyle, who's No Hype Beer Reviews, and I knew Kyle is a big comic book guy. So, like, one of the things I asked him when he was on, I'm going to name 6 Marvel characters. What beer are they drinking? And he was totally just thrown off, but he loved it. He loved it because he loved Marvel. So the more I can know and bring that kind of stuff, it brings more of that value to it. We had a blast doing it and stuff. So
that sounds cool.
Yeah. So, you try to do these different things. And my whole thing is I want to make it entertaining for the people that like to watch and enjoy. And hopefully my whole thing with the channel is I say to help people learn and educate about beer in a fun and entertaining way that people can pick up something but still laugh about it. So that's what I try to do with the different things along those lines. And I appreciate you coming on here and doing that and having a blast with it too.
No, it's been. I really appreciate you inviting me on, mate. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been many years since we've actually connected on any sort of live stream. So yeah, it's nice to sort of connect up again with the likes of yourself.
Definitely, you as well. We got the different with the time thing because I think you're 4 hours ahead of me right now.
It's 10:10 at night at the moment.
Yeah, right. So we're 5:10, but then tonight we turn our clocks back. You guys did it last week, so then you'll be back 5 hours ahead of me after tonight. So, but yeah, when we get these matched up, because Craig's another one that I've talked with, we're gonna get Craig on here so we can do the spotlight on him as well to get that all coordinated. He had some stuff. He was traveling before for a while. I know, but I forgot to get back in touch with him. I think he's back home now, so we need to get something set up with him. It's funny. He says in the comments, Rajay BeerVentures is my favorite wine reviewer. So I don't know. Have you ever heard that story about the wine reviewing?
No, go for it.
So we get these things that are put out, and I don't know if you ever saw FeedSpot. FeedSpot actually is like this service or internet type thing where they rank different stuff. So they rank channels, and like they had ranked the channel as like one of the top 30 beer tubers. They had ranked my blog as like one of the top 200 beer blogs, but then they also had ranked me as one of the top 50 wine tubers. So, which I've never done an episode about wine unless there was some confusion because I said barley wine and they thought that was wine or something.
Oh,
but
yeah, they've grouped it in with that, haven't they? You've done a barley wine review and they've just he's a wine connoisseur. We'll add him.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? If it's publicity, I'll take it. So, but it's funny. It's funny because I was like in top 50. I think I was like 32 or whatever. And there were people behind me that like do wine all the time. And like, how am I beating you? I'm not even doing wine. You're doing wine all the time and I'm still ahead of you.
Quality.
Yeah, so I don't know how their algorithm works, but it's funny they have me there. And then Wanda said, we wouldn't be where we are without Dean. He deserves more subs, Rod. I agree. Dean deserves more subs on his channel. And people need to go check him out and need to get his numbers up. We want to get him over 1,000. So please make sure you guys check out Dean there if you haven't subbed already. And that's the thing. Like I said, for us, we kind of run in common circles, even though we're in two different countries, that we have a lot of the same friends that are reviewers and watch our channel. So it's kind of like a lot of people here already sub to you, but we get some other people that come in and people on the replay that'll see, and hopefully they will actually jump on the sub too. And then Wanda Beer Wander, we do 12-minute reviews, not by design, just how we go. and don't get me wrong, if you do a longer review, doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing either.
No, definitely not. No. It works for them guys. It definitely works for them guys. There's a lot of humor involved in it. A lot of it's very entertaining. 12 minutes, and it goes quite quick as well. It doesn't drag.
Yeah,
it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I think the best way, if you're actually looking at your channel and you're trying to gauge how well it's going, is the interaction with your subscribers and the people watching you. Are you getting people commenting? Are you getting people questioning? Are you getting people thumbs up, thumbs down, doing something? Are they sharing your channel and stuff? I mean, if you're getting interaction from people, that's your best audience, And you ask them the different things too, like what they like about it, what they don't like. I've done that on my things a few times, ask people in videos, like, what do you want to see more on the channel? What other stuff can be fun that you would like to know about? What other beers do you want me? Like, I had one of the guys tell me, I wrote his name down. He wants me to try the Hop Juju from Fatheads, which hasn't come out yet here. But when it comes out, I'll pick that up and I'll do it and I'll mention, trying that. I had a fun thing with that I did this past week, Mister, who's one of my subscribers, about making like vodka gummy bears. That's a good idea. So I did that, and it was great. I still got some left. I'm going to probably have later, but yeah, I had my wife try some yesterday. She's like, "Wait a minute, these things got some kick in them." Yeah.
You didn't hand them out to any trick or treat.
No, no, I didn't hand them out. I didn't hand them out to any of the trick or treaters. We only had like 2 that actually came because it was 35 degrees and cold and rainy, and the kids didn't come out. I got like 5 bags of candy in the house. I had to figure what to get rid of at some point. So, but it was like, and that's the fun thing, when you get these kind of ideas and you try different stuff from the people if you're getting engagement in your channel, you're doing well. You're doing something. So don't sit there feeling like you have to chase down the subs and all that kind of stuff. Things will come over a period of time is what I think. So
most definitely.
So in asking you this before we shut it down here in a little bit, I always ask like people, like, what is something you felt like you've learned from YouTube over these time that you've had your channel? What is like some of the bigger things you may have learned, maybe about yourself, maybe about what you're doing?
Nothing, jack shit.
Are there things you learned, like, say, for instance, that now that you didn't know day one when you did YouTube, that if you knew maybe day one, you maybe would have done those other things as well?
I can see why good beer is more expensive than cheap beer now. I get that.
You get the difference?
I get the difference now. Because when I first started, and I can remember my first journey to a proper bottle shop, I felt so out of place in there. I daren't speak to the guy behind the counter because I didn't know what to say to him. And I was just sort of like rambling through the beer aisle and looking and not knowing what I was looking at, not appreciating what I had, and just seeing the price, put off by it really to a certain degree, thinking, what? £7 for a can of beer? But yeah, it is pricey. Even now, it is pricey. You've got to be a little bit savvy with it. But when you do get that experience, it is just absolutely bliss. It's worth every penny. If it goes right, it's worth every penny.
Yeah. You definitely with craft beer, most of the time, you get what you pay for. Sometimes you don't, and you pay too much. But most of the time, you can get a nice solid beer. So like when you go out places, it's another thing we would talk about on some of the other ones. Like when you go out now, because you know so much more about beer, and it's kind of like you go out and you and the missus are out and you're getting served dinner, whatever, you're going to order a beer. Do you almost feel like, how am I going to say the right words, I guess, that you're ahead of the conversation? Like the person, the waiter, the waitress is asking, what would you like to drink? And they're like, well, we have this and that. And we're like, I already know what's going on. Yeah. Like, do you feel like you have to pull yourself back from like having to say something?
Yeah, no, I've been in situations like that before. But you don't want to come across big-headed in that situation, do you? So you'll get. What was it? This is going back a while as well. I asked for a beer. Local pub out in the town. I went in there for a few beers, and they served me. It was an Icelandic porter, I think, if I recall. And they served me in a bloody glass with ice in it.
With ice in it?
They put ice in it. They said, "Do you want ice in it?" I said, "No." Anyway, he didn't hear me. He came back. He opened the bottle, put it on the counter. He put a glass next to it, and it was full of ice. I said, "What's this all about, then, mate?" Well, it's how it's served. I said, "It's a porter. What you do? It's a dark beer. What's the ice all about?" Oh, apologise. I thought it was a cider. Yeah.
So they put ice in their ciders though there?
Yeah, that's pretty common practice. Ice in cider, yeah.
Because I was saying here they don't put ice in cider. Not that I've ever seen. Yeah.
They tried putting it in porters as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been definitely different for sure, right? Like, what is this for?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do. If we're going out somewhere to eat and I've never been there before, I normally tend to have a quick scan of what beers they've got on offer.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have to drink anything, and I have to drink anything, but it's nice to have something decent sometimes if you're going out for a meal.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We go out. I don't know if your lady if she drinks as well too, but like we'll go out and they'll ask us what beer if we want something. I'll get like a beer, and they'll ask what my wife wants for a beer as well. And it's kind of like she just looks at me like, "What do I want?" It's like I just know her palate, so I'm like, "Well, get her this or get her that." Like I can look on the tap list. No, I know. And there was a couple times when she was like, they'll ask her, "What do you like?" And she's like, "Oh, he knows." Like it's like, and I'm like, "Yeah, I do beer reviews. I know what you take a look." Yeah. And the other night we went out, so we went out and we had gotten one beer that was like a lager. She likes lagers, and a keg got kicked, so she got it on the house because like a half a glass they can only get before they get rid of it. And then she went another one. And they were like, "What else do you like?" And they had the Founders Lager. Well, obviously we weren't drinking Founders, so we're kind of like, I don't really drink Founders or whatever. And then I was like, going to get her this strawberry one. It was a strawberry sour, and she got that. She's like, "This is really good." I'm like, "That's what I tried to get you before. You said you didn't want a sour." She's like, "This is a sour?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a strawberry." And so it's funny because like she's learning more about beer with me, like setting her up with stuff now that she's actually trying, that she's finding she likes and stuff. But she's not an IPA person at all. She can't stand IPA. She can't stand stouts. But
she likes too bitter or
too bitter for what she likes. So she'll drink like the she loves Stellas, so she'll drink like the Euro lagers. She'll drink like I can get her she won't drink like an Oberon because it's too much of a bite for her even on that one. She'll drink some of the other wheat ales though. She'll drink like some of the sours now. But then she's like, "I want to get a high ABV beer." And it's like, you just don't like any of these high ABV beers because they're like double IPAs or like stout, imperial stouts and stuff like that. So she always like is trying to find different ones she likes. But occasionally I'll find her some other stuff that she's able to drink. Like she'll drink some of the Belgian ales if they have that there on tap and stuff too. But it's just funny because she used to be like, she hated beer. She's like, "I hate beer. I hate beer." And I'm like, "You just haven't found a beer you like. You just haven't found one you like yet." There's tons of beers. And now she's found beers she likes as well. So.
Yeah, it's just finding the right thing. My wife's, she I wouldn't say she's a beer enthusiast or anything like that. She'll, if we do go out to a craft beer bar, which we very rarely do, but if we do, then she will appease me and dabble on the menu, and she'll probably go on a fruit beer, a safe bet, some like a strawberry fruit beer, something pretty sort of straightforward, not too high ABV.
Mm-hmm.
Good sweetness in there.
She likes some of the Goza styles at all, or
yeah. If it can rein back from the sour kick, then she's quite happy. It's got to be proper fruit forward though for her to want it. If not, she'll just probably have a few ciders.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about finding what you like there. Oh, Terry stopped in. Hello, Terry. So hello, Dina Rod Howard thing guy. That's another great channel.
Hello,
Terry does great. Cool. And you talk about like entertaining and like a succinct video. Terry gets on there for about like 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe, and then he just nails everything about the beer and he's gone. It's like Terry does a great job on his videos. He's another one that should have a lot more subs too.
Yeah. I wish he'd make more videos as well.
Yeah, I do too. Because I think it's like just once a week when Terry usually puts them out.
Just one on the weekend, and that's about it, really.
I
do like Tel's sound.
Yeah, if I just did one a week, my backlog would be so long because I'm still drinking all the other days. I'd have too many. I'd have too many backed up. Terry's a great guy. All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead. I don't know if you got other stuff you got to get done tonight, but I know we've gone here almost a couple of hours. But it was
No.
great
Yeah,
having
it's
you
been good,
on. I
mate.
mean, I'm done to be conscious of time. Like I said, I'm still 5:30 here, so I'm still not even to the evening yet. But I want to make sure in case you got stuff to do, you're not held up anywhere.
No, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Yeah, I've got nothing planned, but
Okay.
I've really enjoyed it. And once again, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it, Rod.
Thank you for coming on. And again, if you guys have not, and I'm going to pull it up here one more time, checked out Dean's channel. Tell you won't be disappointed. Check out his channel here, Dean's Beer Reviews. Some great stuff on there from the beers that he's actually doing and trying. Jump on it over in YouTube. We want to get him over 1,000 subs right now. I think you're 983 right now. So hopefully, if there are any friends you got that you want to share, let them know about Dean and get them some good representation out there. But it's been a great time, my friend, and look forward to more and more beer videos and doing some more stuff. We'll get together some more times here as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then any special stuff you got upcoming on your channel before we sign off? Anything you got upcoming, like video wise?
I've got a few half decent beers. Fingers crossed. I did a beer unboxing earlier on with 6 beers from an online website, and hopefully there'll be 6 beauties. So they'll be coming up within the next sort of maybe next week. I'll start reviewing them.
Okay.
Some good UK craft stuff at the moment. And I think there's a few. I think there's an Italian brewery in there and a Romanian craft brewery in there as well. So yeah, all good stuff.
Excellent. Are you doing a advent calendar this year?
No.
I was thinking about possibly doing one, but
yeah, I've never done one. I probably will get around one day to doing one, but not this year. No.
Yeah, we have one here. It's one of our chains called Costco. I don't know if you have Costco over there.
Yeah, we got Costco.
Yeah, okay.
Over there. Yeah.
So they have one that people are talking about. It's like just under $60, I guess, depending on where you're at here in the States. And it has 24 beers in it. They're all German beers. They did all German this year. So some people have been picking that up and maybe doing it on their channels and stuff. But I was thinking about, I've never done one before. Like, do I want to do that? Maybe that'd be kind of a cool thing. So
interesting.
Yeah. But then it's like I got like 100-something beers right now in the cellar. Like I really need to drink these before I get any more beer. Get these other ones out of the way first.
It's hard to stop though, isn't it? When you see something, you've got to buy it almost.
Yeah. Now, do you have a beer cellar as well? Do you keep a beer cellar?
I've got a little pantry in my kitchen that I keep a few beers in there. I haven't really got the patience to age anything. I've got a few. Admittedly, I have got a few beers in there that I've had for a while, but there's been beers in the past where I've bought it to, and age it, and after weeks I thought, no, I'm having it. I haven't got the patience to keep it.
Well, it's kind of funny when they get so many beers.
I want it now.
I go to put new beers in. It's like, oh, I forgot I had this other beer even out here. You start forgetting beers you've actually had because there's so many beers that are there, which is hilarious. But that's awesome. Well, thanks again for joining for the spotlight we did today. And thanks for everybody else that definitely joined here in the comments and all the questions and comments that everybody made. And just another great person from the beer community, another fun time. And I hope to catch up with everybody here soon. Keep drinking those good craft beers. And remember, there's always time. Get your beer on.
Get your beer on.
Cheers, everybody.
Ciao.